Hi, I'm Rita. Welcome back to my booktube channel, Life Worth Reading. So today we're doing my March TBR, and this is actually going to be a really long video. I can feel it already because I have so much to cover in this TBR. March is going to be the most overwhelming month of the year. Like, I'm already guessing this TBR is insane because I am participating in the Koreadthon hosted by Books with Chloe and Monica Kim here on booktube, and it's from the 7th of March to the 13th, I think. So it's a week in March where you read only Korean books and you have a lot of challenges to do. And I am not sure if I'm going to be able to finish all the challenges, but I have picked out a TBR for that. And probably what will end up happening is that I'll mix some prompts, whatever comes up on my cards, with the Koreadthon prompts so that I could pick the same book, because there is no way that I can read this much. So we have a long video ahead of us. As you already know, I do this TBR game every single month. I have a playlist of it, and I also have a Google Docs with all the prompts and all the rules so you can play it yourself if you would like that. That would all be in the description below. And I think that without further ado, let's just get started into this video. Firstly, we have to look at last month's TBR to see if I finished it or if I need to apply some punishments. Spoiler alert, yes, I will be taking a punishment this month because I did not finish my entire TBR. The month is not over yet. Tomorrow is the last day of the month, but I still haven't finished all the books and I haven't started one, and that's why there is going to be a punishment. But let's just take a look at the TBR and see what I did or didn't complete. So for my February TBR, I got the card King of Cups, which was to read an intimidating book, and that was what I picked, was Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong, and I did not read it. That was the only book on this TBR that I haven't even started yet, and I don't have the time to start and finish a over 500 page book until tomorrow. So that one is definitely out. I did not complete it, not because I didn't want to, but because I'm such a mood reader that I ended up reading a lot in February. But I think I'm up to 11 or 12 books, so this 5 were not a problem per se, but I just didn't feel like picking it up, and then I had a very few busy days in the end of February, and so it didn't work. It did not work, and that's the book that I'm going to be punished for. I will try to read in February, so that's in March. I will try to read it in March, so that's another book on my TBR to carry over. But yeah, let's just move on. Then I got the Princess of Pentacles, which was to read a new release, and I picked Matrix by Lauren Groff. I am currently reading it. It's a very kind of hard to read book. The writing is very weird, and it's taking me a while to read it, but I am in the middle of it, so I'm not counting this one as a punishment. And same with the next book that I got, which was The Ace of Wands, which was start a series, and I started, hold on, King of Scars by Liber Dugu. I am buddy reading this with Tara. She has already finished it, I think, yesterday. And I am 100 pages from the end. I am on page 430, and this is a 510 page book. And it's taking me a while to get through this. Like, it's kind of boring, I'm not gonna lie. But again, I am counting this as a success because I will finish it either today or tomorrow. So I will have finished this by the end of the month. But it's taking me way longer than I thought that it would, honestly. Then we have The Queen of Pentacles, which was to read a booktubers recommendation. And I read Malibu Rising because a lot of booktubers have recommended a book. And I DNF'd it at like 20%. Someone lied to me. I did not enjoy this book. More thoughts on my February wrap-up, but this was a success. I'm counting it. I did not want to finish this book. And yeah, it was a very early on DNF, but no regrets because I really wasn't feeling this book. And the last book that I had to read was because of the card Judgment. It was to read someone else's recommendation, and I read this for a video that has yet to come out. And that is Writers and Lovers by Lily King, which I did finish. So those were the 5 books that I had to read in February. I finished 2, I'm in the middle of another 2, and I didn't even start one. So we're applying 1 punishment. So I'm adding 1 card to my card pools. So we're gonna pick 6 cards. Okay, so with the review of last month's TBR out of the way, let's get started into the Koreadthon, which I already told you that I was going to participate in. It's in early March. I will have a reading vlog up for it because there are some other food challenges and some other challenges outside of reading that I really want to participate in. So I will probably film that entire week. And let's talk about that TBR first, because God, it's going to be a long one. This month is not going to go well. April me, she's gonna take all the punishments. She really will. Anyway, the group book for the Koreadthon is Winter in Seoksho by Elisa Chua Dusepin. None of this is sounding good, but I think it is because this is a French-Korean author. So I think that's why it's Dusepin, but I'm really not sure. And I think that this book is about a woman, a French-Korean woman in South Korea at the border with North Korea, and she runs a hotel. And I think it's about her meeting a man, an American man, and showing him around. I'm not sure if it's a romance or not. I didn't quite get it, but the cover is incredible, and I've been meaning to read this book because there's been a little bit of a buzz lately because of this book, and I'm very glad that it's the group book, so I will be reading that in March. Then for the first challenge, we have a book translated from Korean, and I'm combining this challenge with the book recommended by a Korean celebrity prompt, and I am reading Almond by, let me read this, Won Byung-sun. And I think this story is a very short book about this boy that has some kind of neurodivergency that doesn't allow him to feel certain emotions. And so he's been very isolated his whole life, and I'm not sure what happens next. And also, I think that when I found it on SCRIBD, it said like a BTS fan favorite. I'm not sure if that means that BTS recommended it, but I think that this is just an easy one to combine, and so I'll be reading it for both prompts. Next up, we have a historical fiction, and I'm so happy about it because I'm finally going to be reading Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee. I bought this book last year, and it's an intimidating one for sure. It's over 500 pages as well. I'm not sure how I'm going to be reading this in a week, but I'm at least going to start it for the Koreadthon, and I'm very, very excited because this is one of my 5-star predictions as well. And it's about Korea in the early 20th century, and it just follows generations of people. I don't want to know too much because I do love going into it kind of blindly. So that's all that I know about it, but I'm very, very excited to finally be reading this book and happy that I could apply it for the Koreadthon. Then the next prompt that we have is an award-winning Korean novel, and for this one I'm indecisive between two of them. We have The Vegetarian by Han Kang, which is a book that I think everyone knows, and it won the 2016 Booker Prize if I'm not mistaken. But the other one that I'm thinking about is The Hole, which is a horror book that I've really been meaning to read for a long time, and it's by Hee-Jun Pyun. So I'll be reading either one of those books because this book won the 2017 Shirley Jackson Award. So that's really exciting. And the final prompt for the Koreadthon is to read a Korean diaspora novel. And for this one, I am picking Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi because I've never read anything by Mary H.K. Choi. I'm assuming since she is Korean American that her characters are Korean American as well. I think that's the case for all of her novels. And this book follows the story of two sisters. I don't know much about it. I just know that they drifted apart, but then a disease brings them back together. And I think that it's going to be a very heartbreaking book. I think that it's one of Casey's favorite books. So I really want to give it a try, and I think that it would be perfect for the Koreadthon. Okay, so those are already the books that are on my TBR. Can you see why I'm concerned? Can you tell why I'm concerned? This is not going to go well for me, besties. We'll just have to see what happens. So I'm just going to do the card pulls now, and we'll see what cards come up. I hope that there are good ones, and then which books I pick for each one. If there are repeats for the Koreadthon, don't judge me, okay? This is too much. This is too much for me. Here we have my deck of cards. As always, I'll be using the Mystic Mondays deck by Grace Duong. I will never get rid of this deck. It's my favorite one, so I'll leave a link in the description. Not an affiliate link or anything, just a link to where you can buy one for yourself if you'd like, and I will hopefully have luck this month with these cards because I'm definitely going to need it. March is going to be a very, very overwhelming month, and my TBR is already kind of ridiculous, I'm not gonna lie. And yes, I did light a candle for the ambiance. Do not judge me, it is morning time, but still. Okay, so let's start shuffling our cards, and then we'll see what our first card pull will be. And now let's find out what the first card of the month will be. The Three of Pentacles. So the first card that came up was the Three of Pentacles, which was a very, very good, simple card. It needs to read either a debut author or a new author to me. And so for this one, I have kind of liberty of choice. And I think that for this prompt, I'm going to be reading, or I'm going to be choosing either Yol by Mary H.K. Choi because she is a new author to me. I haven't read anything from her before. or if I have the time, like that's my official pick and it's a repeat, I'm sorry. But if I have the time, I will also be reading The Silence of Bones by June Her, because this is a book that was popular, I think in 2019 maybe, and she has just come up with a new book. But this is a YA mystery horror book. I'm not sure what it follows, but I know that it's Korean, and so I'm just trying to also pick Korean books because why not? And I've heard a lot of great things about that author, so why not give it a try? But my official pick is Yolk by Mary K. Choi, because I haven't read anything from her. Okay, so our first card is chosen. We have the Three of Pentacles, and now let's shuffle again and see what else comes up. And our second card this month will be the Six of Cups. Then the second card that we got was the Six of Cups, which was also a very, very lucky card, but I'm not going to pick any books from the Koreadthon for this prompt, but this prompt was to read a translated fiction, so either a book that was translated to English from its original language or was translated to Portuguese, my native language. And for this prompt, I pick Stay With Me by, y'all, just hold on a minute, Yobami Adebayo. I have no idea if that's right or not. And this is actually very exciting because this is a library book. So one of my reading goals for 2022 was to actually use my local libraries more. And I found this book and I was really intrigued by the cover. It's also a finalist for the Bailey's Women's Prize for Fiction. And it's Nigerian fiction, which I have found that I really, really love specifically. Inside of African Lit, I do really enjoy Nigerian authors and stories set in Nigeria. And I think this is a story about a couple that is trying to have kids and they can't, and so it is suggested to them to bring another woman into their marriage so she can carry the babies. And I think that's where the problems start, and I think that it's going to be a very beautiful look into women's value maybe and women's reproductive rights. I don't know, I'm thinking about something like that. It was actually just a cover pick and a synopsis pick, like it sounded very interesting to me. But then I actually went on Goodreads and I saw that a lot of people that I know have already read and loved this book, so that's just added buzz for me. And I'm very excited to be reading this book in March because I have to land it back to the library at the end of March. Let's find out what our third card of the month is. The Emperor. Then the next card that I got was the Emperor, and this card is to read one of the oldest books on my physical TBR. And I'm going to cheat a little bit for this one because I'll be reading Hamnet by referral. This is a book about Shakespeare and Anna Hathaway's son that dies at a young age. And I'm reading this book for a video that has to come out pretty soon. It's one of the last books that I'll be reading. And it's not one of the oldest books on my TBR. I'm sure that I have books that are older than this, but this is already over a year old and a book that I'm really trying to get into. So I'm just going to pick it. I'm just going to chit a little bit. It's not the oldest book on my TBR, but it's close enough for me. And yeah, I'll be reading this book in March for this prompt. So our fourth card will be this one, and that is the Eight of Swords. And then we got the Eight of Swords, which is a card that I haven't gotten in a long time, and I feel like it was a very big coincidence because this is a recently purchased book, and I literally just bought one book for the first time since I think December. And that is Love After Love by Ingrid Bersad. This is a book that I have been meaning to read for a long time, but I never thought that I would get the physical copy of. But then I saw this secondhand. As you can tell, it's a bit crusty, but I don't mind that at all. And so I got this for really cheap and it just arrived. And I don't know, it's a Caribbean story about love and family, and I've been meaning to read this for a long time. And now that I have the physical copy, I'm even more excited for it. And yeah, this is the only book that I've purchased in months, so yeah, it had to be this one or none at all. let's try this inside out and let's see what the last card of the pile is for our 5th card. Oh, it's the Devil card. And then next up, we got a card that I also hadn't gotten in a long time, and that was the Devil card, which is my favorite card of the deck simply because of its design. It's an amazing card. Like, I cannot even describe how much I love this card. But yeah, we got the Devil, which was to read a horror book. And for this one, I think that I'm going to repeat a book from the Koreadthon because there's too many books that I have to read this month, okay? It's too much. It's too much. And so for this one, I think that I will be reading The Hole, which is a book that I just talked about for the Koreadthon. That won the Shirley Jackson Award. And I've been hearing about this book for a long time. It has some mixed reviews, but I'm still excited about it because it does remind me of Misery, which is a book that I really enjoyed. And I just love a good horror book sometimes. But if you have any other horror book recommendations, specifically from Korean authors, but it doesn't have to be. If you have any other horror book recommendations, you can leave them in the comments below. But for now, I think that that's my pick. Okay, so we have 5 cards chosen, and now thankfully we can move on to the last card, which is the 6th card. So let's do that. I just know that this setup looks really different, but yeah, my camera, my phone kind of fell off. My tripod kind of fell off and my phone almost caught on fire. So I had to act very fast, and I don't think that it's in the same position exactly, but whatever. Let's just find out what our last card for this month's TBR is, because this portion of the video is not going very well for me. Okay, so let's find out what the last card for this month is. Oh my god, I'm going to shoot myself. It's the Hierophant, but it's reversed. And next up, we have the card that ruined my month, that ruined this video, I think ruined my whole year, because I got the Hierophant, which is a fine card, but it was reversed, which means that this was supposed to be my 6th and last card, but I had to add another one. What to say about this one? So, this prompt is to read a historical fiction, and for this one, I could pick Pachinko by Min Jin Lee, but since I don't want to repeat prompts and I also have to read another library book until the end of March, I will be picking The Silence of the Girls by Pat Parker. This is a book that I've heard a lot about. It follows the women of the Aeolid? I just realized that I've never said that name in English. Aeolid. It's about Achilles, Patroclus, but yeah, it's narrated by Brizeda. I don't know how to say it in English. Please forgive me. But this is also won the Booker Prize, and it's a very, very beloved book, and I've been meaning to read it for a long time. I also thought that I might read the original one, but why not read it translated and use my local library? So that's what I did. And it's a very beautiful copy, and I'm just very excited to finally get to this book and see what the hype is all about. Okay, so what will hopefully be our last card this month is the 5 of Wands. Okay, I'm okay with that. I really don't care anymore. I'm fine with that. I just want to end this. And thankfully, we have arrived to the last card. And this card is the 5 of Wands, which is a 5-star prediction. And for this one, I will be using Pachinko by Min Jin Lee because this is a 5-star prediction. And why not just use it for this prompt? And I truly think that it will be a 5-star prediction. Are you stressed for me? Like, are you in distress? Because I am in distress. So let's just now take it easy. Let's take a deep breath. And let's just recap this whole March TBR because it is an overwhelming one. Yes, it is. Let's talk about it, shall we? So the first book that I'll be reading in March is A Winter in Soksho by Elisa Shua Dusipin, and this is for the group for the Koreadthon. I'll leave all the information for the Koreadthon down below, by the way. Then the second book that I'll be reading is Almond by Yo Pyun Son. Then for a historical fiction in the Koreadthon, and then for my 5-star prediction prompt, I will be reading Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. Then I'll be reading The Hole by Hee Jun Pyun, I think, for an award-winning novel and for my horror book prompt. Then I'm reading Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi for the Korean diaspora novel and for my prompt of either a new author to me or a debut author. Then I'm reading Stay With Me by Yobami Adebayo for my translated fiction prompt, because this was translated from English to Portuguese. Then I'm reading Hamlet for one of the oldest books on my TBR by Maggie O'Farrell. Then I'll also be reading Love After Love by Ingrid Prasad for my prompt of a recently purchased book. Then I'll be reading The Silence of the Girls by Pat Parker for my historical fiction prompt. And then if I have the time, which I highly doubt, I will also be trying to read The Silence of the Bones by June He. So, just to wrap up this number, I have to read 10 books in March across my prompts and the Koreadthon prompts. That is double what I usually set myself up to read in these TBR videos. So you can already tell how this is going to go, but I will be trying my hardest to get through all these books. And I also, oh no, that's 11 books, because I also still need to read Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. Okay, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I really don't. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. Let me know which is the book that you're most excited to read in March, and if you're participating in the Koreadthon, I would love to know if you are. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content, and I'll see you in my next video. I hope you have a nice day, and always remember that life is worth reading.